Hello friends, welcome to Regional Legal Arrangement series of policy-based Loksewa. On this episode, I'm presenting the BIMSTEC Charter. So let's begin the BIMSTEC Charter. Preamble. We, the peoples of the member states of the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation, BIMSTEC, represented by the heads of state or government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh, Kingdom of Bhutan, the Republic of India, the Republic of the Union of Myanmar, Nepal, the Democratic Republic of Sri Lanka, and the Kingdom of Thailand, reaffirming the firm commitment to the principles and purposes of BIMSTEC as enshrined in the 1997 Bangkok Declaration, having recognized the Memorandum of Association (MOA) on the establishment of the BIMSTEC Permanent Secretariat done at Nay Pyi Taw, Myanmar on 4 March 2014, having recognized the headquarters agreement between the Government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh and the Secretariat of the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation BIMSTEC done at Dhaka, Bangladesh on 1st November 2015, being convinced that geographical contiguity, abundant natural and human resources, historical linkages, and a rich cultural heritage present great potentials for promoting deeper cooperation in identified core areas in the region, acknowledging that enhanced interlinkages and interdependence within the economies and societies in the BIMSTEC member states provide greater opportunity to advance regional cooperation, recognizing the special needs and circumstances of the least developed and landlocked developing countries in the region, and underlining the necessity to provide meaningful support to their development process, reaffirming strong commitment to making BIMSTEC a dynamic, effective, and result-oriented regional organization for promoting a peaceful, prosperous, and sustainable Bay of Bengal region through collective efforts, meaningful cooperation, and deeper integration, stressing the need for a fair, just, equitable, and transparent international order, and reaffirming faith in the multilateralism with the United Nations at the center and the rule-based international trading system, underscoring the importance of robust institutional arrangements to effectively steering the process of regional cooperation under BIMSTEC, having regard to all legal instruments concluded among the member states since the establishment of BIMSTEC in 1997, having regard to the BIMSTEC summit declarations and BIMSTEC ministerial statements providing directives on vision and priorities of BIMSTEC cooperation and establishing rules, norms, and practices for carrying out BIMSTEC activities, recalling the decision of the BIMSTEC First BIMSTEC Summit of 2018 to begin the process of drafting the charter for the organization, building on the 1997 Bangkok Declaration, defining a long-term vision and priorities for cooperation, clearly delineating roles and responsibilities of different layers of institutional structure and decision-making processes, hereby decide to establish through the Charter the legal and institutional framework for BIMSTEC, and to this end, the heads of state or government of the BIMSTEC member states assembled in Colombo on the occasion of the 5th BIMSTEC Summit have agreed to this Charter. Chapter 1, Purposes and Principles. Article 1, Purposes. The purposes of the BIMSTEC shall be: 1. To create an enabling environment for rapid economic development through identification and implementation of specific cooperation projects in the already agreed areas of cooperation and such other areas that may be agreed upon by member states. Member states may periodically review the areas of cooperation. 2. To accelerate the economic growth and social progress in the Bay of Bengal region through joint endeavors in a spirit of equality and partnership. 3. To promote active collaboration and mutual assistance on matters of common interest in the economic, social, technical, and scientific fields. 4. To provide assistance to each other in the form of training and research facilities in the educational, professional, and technical spheres. 5. To cooperate more effectively in joint efforts that are supportive of and complementary to national development plans of the member states, which result in tangible benefits to the people in raising their living standards, including through generating employment and improving transportation and communication infrastructure. 6. To cooperate in projects that can be dealt with most productively on a regional basis among the BIMSTEC member states and that make best use of available synergies. 7. To maintain peace and stability in the Bay of Bengal region through close collaboration and in combating international terrorism, transnational organized crimes, as well as natural disasters, climate change, and communicable diseases. 8. to maintain close and beneficial cooperation with existing international and regional organizations with similar aims and purposes. 9. To endeavor to eradicate poverty from the Bay of Bengal region. 10. To establish multilateral, multidimensional connectivity, promote a synergy among connectivity frameworks in the region as a key enabler to economic integration for shared prosperity. 11. To promote trade and investment as a major contributing factor for fostering economic and social development in the region. Article 2. Principles. The BIMSTEC and its member states, in the pursuit of the purposes stated in Article 1, shall observe the following principles in all the activities. 1. Cooperation within the BIMSTEC will be based on respect for the principle of sovereign equality, territorial integrity, political independence, non-interference in internal affairs, non-aggression, peaceful coexistence, mutual respect and mutual benefit. 2. Cooperation within the BIMSTEC will be complementary to and not be a substitute for bilateral, sub-regional, regional or multilateral cooperation involving the member states. Chapter 2. Legal personality. Chapter 2. Legal personality. Article 3. Legal personality of BIMSTEC. BIMSTEC as an intergovernmental organization is hereby conferred legal personality. Chapter 3. Membership. Chapter 3. Membership. Article 4. Members of BIMSTEC. The members states of BIMSTEC are the People's Republic of Bangladesh, the Kingdom of Bhutan, the Republic of India, the Republic of the Union of Myanmar, Nepal, the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka, and the Kingdom of Thailand. Article 5. Rights and obligations. 1. The member states of BIMSTEC shall have equal rights and obligations under this charter. 2. The member states of BIMSTEC shall take all measures that deem necessary, including enactment of appropriate domestic legislations to effectively implement the provisions of this charter and to comply with all obligations of membership. Article 6. Admission of new members. 1. The process for application and admission to BIMSTEC shall be prescribed by the BIMSTEC ministerial meeting upon the concurrence of all member states. 2. The admission of new members shall be based on the following criteria. A. The applicant state shall satisfy the conditions of territorial contiguity to and/or direct opening into or primary dependence on the Bay of Bengal for trade and transport purposes and/or any other criteria agreed upon in the BIMSTEC ministerial meeting. B. The applicant state shall agree to abide by this charter. C. The applicant state shall possess the ability and willingness to carry out obligations of membership. D. Admission of new members shall contribute to unity and solidarity of the BIMSTEC. 3. The procedure for admission of new member states shall be as follows. A. Any state which desires to become a member of the BIMSTEC shall submit an application to the Secretary General. Such application shall contain a declaration made in formal instrument that the state in question fulfills the criteria of this charter. B. The Secretary General shall in information send a copy of the application to the members of the BIMSTEC and shall include the item in the agenda of the next available ministerial meeting. C. Admission shall be approved by the BIMSTEC Summit upon the recommendation of the BIMSTEC ministerial meeting. D. The Secretary General shall inform the applicant state of the decision of the Summit regarding membership. Upon the approval of the membership application, the new member shall deposit the instrument of association to the BIMSTEC Secretariat. Article 7. Admission of observers. 1. The admission of an observer shall be based on the following criteria. A. The applicant state shall satisfy BIMSTEC member states that the applicant for observership has shown interest in and is able to contribute to the activities of BIMSTEC. B. The applicant, regional or international organization shall satisfy BIMSTEC member states that the applicant for observership is in a position to contribute to the work program of BIMSTEC. C. The applicant state and a regional or international organization shall bear in mind that granting of observer status does not automatically qualify for membership. D. All decisions regarding the admission of observer states and regional or international organization will be based on unanimity. 2. The procedure for admission of an observer shall be as follows. A. Any state, regional organization, or international organization desiring to become an observer of the BIMSTEC shall submit an application to the Secretary General. Such application shall contain a declaration made in a formal state instrument that the state or international organization or regional organization in question fulfills the criteria of the BIMSTEC Charter. B. The Secretary General shall, for information, send a copy of the application to the members of the BIMSTEC and shall include the item in the agenda of the next ministerial meeting. C. All decisions regarding the admission of observer states and information international or regional organizations will be made by consensus by the BIMSTEC summit upon recommendations of the BIMSTEC ministerial meeting. D. The Secretary General shall inform the applicant, state or international organization or regional organization of the decision of the summit. If the application is approved, observer status shall become effective on the date on which the summit takes its decision on the application. E. Roles and obligations for the observer will be as agreed by the member states in the relevant rules of procedures. Chapter 4 Organs. Article 8. BIMSTEC Summit. 1. The BIMSTEC Summit shall comprise the heads of state or government of the member states. 2. The BIMSTEC Summit shall a. Be the supreme decision-making body of BIMSTEC. B. Deliberate, provide policy guidance and taking decisions on key issues pertaining to the realization of the purposes of BIMSTEC, important matters of interest to member states, and all issues referred to it by the BIMSTEC ministerial meeting and BIMSTEC sectoral ministerial bodies. C. Address emergency situations affecting BIMSTEC by taking appropriate measures. D. Decide on application for admission of new member states and observers. E. Authorize the establishment and dissolution of sectoral ministerial bodies and BIMSTEC centers entities. E. The BIMSTEC summit meeting shall be a held once every 2 years, preceded by the ministerial meeting, and be hosted by the member state holding the BIMSTEC chairmanship, and be convened whenever necessary a special summit to be chaired by the member state holding the BIMSTEC chairmanship at a venue to be agreed upon by BIMSTEC member states. C. The chairman of BIMSTEC may, at his own initiative or at the request of a member state, convene a special summit to address an important issue pertaining to the interest of BIMSTEC with the concurrence of all member states. D. All decisions of the summit meeting shall be made on the basis of consensus. Article 9. BIMSTEC Ministerial Meeting. BIMSTEC Ministerial Meeting. 1. The BIMSTEC Ministerial Meeting shall comprise the ministries dealing with foreign relations of the member states. 2. The BIMSTEC Ministerial Meeting shall have the following powers and functions. A. Coordinating overall BIMSTEC cooperation. B. Prepare the BIMSTEC Summit. C. Coordinate the implementation of agreements and decisions of the BIMSTEC Summit. D. Coordinate with the sectoral ministerial bodies to enhance policy coherence, efficiency and cooperation with them. E. Approve the budget of the Secretariat and BIMSTEC centers or entities as proposed by the senior officials meeting. F. Endorse the deliberations of the BIMSTEC sectoral ministerial meetings. G. Appoint the Secretary General of BIMSTEC with the rank and status of an ambassador upon the recommendation of their senior officials meeting, and H. Undertake such other functions as may be assigned by the BIMSTEC summit. 3. The BIMSTEC ministerial meetings shall a. Meet annually, preceded by the BIMSTEC senior officials meeting SOM, and to be hosted by the member state holding the BIMSTEC chairmanship. B. Convene whenever necessary as a special meeting to be chaired by the member state holding the BIMSTEC chairmanship at a venue to be agreed upon by the member states. C. The chairman of BIMSTEC may, at his own initiative or at the request of a member state, convene a special ministerial meeting to address an important issue pertaining to the interest of BIMSTEC with the concurrence of all member states. Article 10. BIMSTEC sectoral ministerial meetings. 1. The BIMSTEC sectoral ministerial bodies shall comprise the relevant ministries of line ministries responsible for carrying out the activities of the respective sectors. 2. The BIMSTEC sectoral ministerial bodies shall have the following powers and functions. A. Function in accordance with their respective established mandates. B. Implement the agreements and decisions of the BIMSTEC summit under their respective purview. C. Strengthen cooperation in their respective fields in promoting BIMSTEC objectives. D. Submit report and recommendations to the BIMSTEC ministerial meeting for the consideration of the BIMSTEC summit. And E. Assess and approve and take action on the deliberations of the BIMSTEC sectoral senior officials meeting. E. 3. The sectoral ministerial bodies shall meet as and when necessary to be hosted and chaired by the lead country of a particular sector. Each sectoral ministerial body may have under its purview the relevant senior officials, sectoral working groups and sub-sectoral expert groups or subgroups, etc., all to be hosted and chaired by the lead country of a particular sector or any other interested member state. Article 11. BIMSTEC Senior Officials Meeting. 1. The BIMSTEC Senior Officials Meeting shall comprise the foreign secretaries or appropriate senior officials nominated by the BIMSTEC member states. 2. The Senior Officials Meeting shall have the following powers and functions. A. Prepare for the BIMSTEC Ministerial Meeting. B. Follow up and coordinate the implementation of agreements and decisions of the BIMSTEC Ministerial Meeting. C. Coordinate with the sectoral bodies in sectors where there is no ministerial body. D. Initiate proposals on all administrative and budgetary matters for the consideration of the ministerial meeting. D. And E. Undertake such other functions as may be assigned by the ministerial meeting. F. Assess and approve and take action on the deliberations of the BIMSTEC Permanent Working Committee. 3. The BIMSTEC Senior Officials Meeting shall be A. Held once a year, preceding the BIMSTEC Ministerial Meetings to be hosted by the member state holding the BIMSTEC chairmanship, and B. Convened whenever necessary as a special session of the Senior Officials Meeting to be chaired by the member state holding the BIMSTEC chairmanship at a venue to be agreed upon by BIMSTEC member states. 4. The Senior Officials Meeting shall report to the BIMSTEC Ministerial Meeting. Article 12. BIMSTEC Permanent Working Committee. 1. The BIMSTEC Permanent Working Committee (BPWC) shall comprise the national focal point at appropriate senior level of each BIMSTEC member state. 2. The BIMSTEC Permanent Working Committee shall have the following powers and functions. A. Deliberate on the administrative and financial matters of the Secretariat and BIMSTEC centers or entities. B. Prepare in consultation with the Secretariat schedule, calendar of the BIMSTEC activities, prioritize and rationalize BIMSTEC activities and projects, and D. Prepare for the BIMSTEC Senior Officials Meeting. A. Undertake such other functions as may be assigned by the BIMSTEC Senior Officials Meeting. 3. The meeting of BIMSTEC Permanent Working Committee (BPWC) shall A. Be held at least twice a year, both to be hosted by the member state holding the BIMSTEC chairmanship. B. In addition, the committee shall meet as and when necessary. Article 13. BIMSTEC National Focal Point. 1. Each BIMSTEC member shall establish a BIMSTEC National Focal Point (NFP) at their respective Ministry of External Affairs or Foreign Affairs. 2. The National Focal Point shall have the following powers and functions. A. Serve as the national point of contact for all communications, including email, with the BIMSTEC Secretariat. B. Be the repository of information on all BIMSTEC matters at the national level. C. Coordinate the implementation of BIMSTEC decisions at the national level. And D. Coordinate and support the national preparations of BIMSTEC meetings. Article 14. Secretary General and the Secretariat. 1. The Secretary General of BIMSTEC shall be appointed by the BIMSTEC Ministerial Meeting upon recommendation by the Senior Officials Meeting for a non-renewable term of office of 3 years upon nomination by a member state based on the principle of alphabetical rotation. 2. The Secretary General shall act as the head of the Secretariat. 3. The Secretary General shall be of ambassadorial rank. 4. The Secretary General shall have the following duties and responsibilities. A. Carry out directives of member states through different mechanisms and coordinate implementation progress. B. Coordinate, facilitate, and monitor progress in the implementation of BIMSTEC agreements and decisions and submit annual report on the work of the organization to the BIMSTEC Ministerial Meeting. C. Participate in meetings of the BIMSTEC Summit, BIMSTEC Ministerial Meeting, BIMSTEC sectoral ministerial meetings, and other relevant BIMSTEC meetings. D. Represent BIMSTEC and participate in meetings with external parties in accordance with approved policy guidelines and mandate given to the Secretary General. 5. The BIMSTEC Secretariat shall comprise of the Secretary General, directors, and such other staff as may be required and approved by the member states. 6. In performance of their duties, the Secretary General and the staff shall A. Uphold the highest standards of integrity, efficiency, and competence. B. Not seek or receive instructions from any government or from any other authority external to the organization and government or external party outside BIMSTEC. And C. Refrain from any action which might not commensurate with their respective position as BIMSTEC Secretariat officials. 7. The Secretary General and Secretariat will not comply with any instruction from any individual member state other than through BIMSTEC collective mechanism to maintain the exclusive character of the Secretary General and the Secretariat. Article 15. Other subsidiary bodies. Subsidiary bodies, including BIMSTEC centers or entities, may be established through the signing of the specific memorandum of associations among member states and headquarters agreements with the host countries. Separate agreements shall be signed for the establishment of each BIMSTEC center or entity. Chapter 5. Immunities and Privileges. Chapter 5. Immunities and Privileges. Article 16. Immunities and privileges of the Secretary General and staff on a deputation of the BIMSTEC Secretariat. 1. The Secretary General and staff on deputation of the BIMSTEC Secretariat participating in official BIMSTEC activities or representing the BIMSTEC in the member states shall enjoy such immunities and privileges as are necessary for the independent exercise of their functions. 2. The immunities and privileges under this article shall be laid down in a separate BIMSTEC agreement. Article 17. Immunities and privileges of the officials on BIMSTEC duties. The officials of the member states participating in official BIMSTEC activities in the member states shall enjoy such immunities and privileges as are necessary for the exercise of their functions. Chapter 6. Decision making. Chapter 6. Decision making. Article 18. Consensus. All decisions in BIMSTEC shall be based on consensus. Chapter 7. Dispute settlement. Chapter 7. Dispute settlement. Article 19. Peaceful settlement of dispute. Member states shall endeavor to resolve peacefully all disputes in a timely manner through dialogue, consultation, and negotiation. Chapter 8. Administrative and procedural matters. Chapter 8. Administrative and procedural matter. Article 20. Chairman of BIMSTEC. 1. The chairmanship of BIMSTEC shall rotate on the alphabetical order of the English names of member states. The changeover of chairmanship shall place during the summit meeting in a manner whereby the member state chairing BIMSTEC shall host BIMSTEC summit and hand over the chairmanship to the member state next in alphabetical order. 2. The member state assuming the chairmanship shall chair A. The BIMSTEC summit and related summits and retreats. B. The BIMSTEC ministerial meetings. C. The BIMSTEC senior officials meetings. And D. The BIMSTEC permanent working committee. 3. The member state holding chairmanship of BIMSTEC shall actively promote and enhance the interests of BIMSTEC through policy initiatives, coordination, consensus building, and cooperation. The chairmanship shall represent the organization to external partners. Article 21. Working language of BIMSTEC. English shall be the working language of BIMSTEC. Chapter 9. Budget and financing. Chapter 9. Budget and financing. Article 22. General principles. 1. The BIMSTEC shall establish financial rules and procedures to ensure observance of sound financial management and budgetary discipline. 2. Financial accounts shall be subject to internal and external audits. Article 23. Operational budget and finances of the Secretariat. 1. The Secretariat shall be provided with the necessary financial resources to perform its functions effectively. 2. The operational budget of the Secretariat shall be made by the BIMSTEC member states through annual contributions as per the rate determined by the ministerial meeting, which shall be remitted in a timely manner. 3. The Secretary General shall prepare the annual operational budget of the BIMSTEC Secretariat for approval by the ministerial meeting upon the recommendation of the senior officials meeting. 4. The Secretariat shall operate in accordance with the financial rules and procedures determined by the ministerial meeting upon the recommendation of the senior officials meeting. Chapter 10. External Relations. Chapter 10. External Relations. Article 24. Conduct of External Relations. The BIMSTEC may conclude agreements with countries or sub-regional, regional, and international organizations and institutions. The procedure for concluding such agreements shall be as laid down by the BIMSTEC ministerial meeting. Chapter 10. 11. Final Provisions. 11. Final Provisions. Article 25. Signature, ratification, depository, and entry into force. 1. This charter shall be signed by all BIMSTEC member states. 2. This chapter shall be subject to ratification by all BIMSTEC member states in accordance with their respective internal procedures. 3. Instrument of ratification shall be deposited with the Secretary General, who promptly notify all member states of each deposit. 4. This charter shall enter into force on the 30th day following the deposit of the 7th instrument of ratification with the Secretary General of BIMSTEC. Article 26. Amendments. 1. Any member state may propose amendments to the charter. Proposed amendments to the charter shall be submitted by the ministerial meeting to the BIMSTEC summit for its decision. 2. Amendments to this charter agreed by consensus by the BIMSTEC summit shall be ratified by all member states in accordance with Article 25. 3. An amendment shall enter into force on the 30th day following the deposit of the last instrument of ratification with the Secretary General. Article 27. Terms of reference and rules of procedure. Unless otherwise provided for in this charter, the BIMSTEC ministerial meeting shall determine the terms of reference and rules of procedure and shall ensure their consistency. Article 28. Review. This charter may be reviewed 6 years after its entry into force or as otherwise determined by the BIMSTEC summit. Article 29. Interpretation and implementation of the Charter. 1. Upon request of any member state, the interpretation of the Charter shall be undertaken by BIMSTEC Secretariat in accordance with the rules of procedure determined by the BIMSTEC ministerial meeting with the concurrences of the member states. 2. Parties to dispute may request the chairman of BIMSTEC to provide good offices, conciliation, and mediation to settle any dispute arising out of the interpretation or implementation of the Charter. Article 30. Legal continuity. 1. All treaties, conventions, agreements, declarations, and other BIMSTEC instruments which have been in effect before the entry into force of this Charter shall continue to be valid. 2. In case of inconsistency between the rights and obligations of member states under such instruments and this Charter shall prevail. Article 31. Original text. The signed original text of the Charter in English shall be deposited with the Secretary General of BIMSTEC, who shall provide a certified copy to each member state. Article 32. BIMSTEC assets. The assets and funds of the organization shall be vested in the name of BIMSTEC. Article 33. BIMSTEC flag. BIMSTEC flag shall be as shown in Annex 1st. Article 34. BIMSTEC emblem. The BIMSTEC emblem shall be shown in Annex 2. Article 35. BIMSTEC Day. The 6th of June shall be observed as BIMSTEC Day. 6th of June shall be observed as BIMSTEC Day. Article 36. Use of the name of BIMSTEC. The name of BIMSTEC shall strictly be used in respect of the meetings and events of the BIMSTEC cooperation sectors agreed by the member states, done in Colombo on the 30th day of March in the year 2022 in a single original in the English language. So these are the signatories for the BIMSTEC Charter. For the People's Republic of Bangladesh, Her Excellency Sheikh Hasina, Prime Minister. For the Kingdom of Bhutan, Her Excellency Lote Tshering, Prime Minister. For the Republic of India, His Excellency Sri Narendra Modi, Prime Minister. For the Republic of Union of Myanmar, His Excellency Senior General Min Aung Hlaing, Chairman of the State Administration Council and Prime Minister. And for Nepal, Honorable Right Honorable Sher Bahadur Deuba, Prime Minister. For the Democratic Republic of Sri Lanka, His Excellency Gotabaya Rajapaksa, President. For the Kingdom of Thailand, His Excellency General Prayut Chan-o-cha, Prime Minister. So this is the map, this is the flag of BIMSTEC, and this is the BIMSTEC emblem, and this is the end of the BIMSTEC Charter. Thank you for staying with us, and please do like, share, and subscribe the channel for regular updates like this. Goodbye for now.